technology that is built for your every sense. Acer Pure from Acer.
Well, let's expand on that story. When we speak of a federal judge in Boston who has struck down the Trump administration cuts to more than $2.6 billion in research funding for the Harvard University, one of the topmost and prestigious universities, calling them as unlawful retaliation over governance disputes. Now, the U.S. District Judge Alison Burrow has ruled on saying that the administration's actions violated the law after Harvard resisted the White House demands for changes to its governance and campus policies. Now, this decision marks as a major win for the university, which has battled the administration over fund freezes, foreign student restrictions, and the threat to revoke its tax-exempt status. Now, this development is coming at a time, if we can actually call it a victory over Trump. Srinjoy, good morning, because the judge has ruled that the cuts amounted to illegal retaliation, and especially when it comes to the demands for changes to Harvard's governance and policies, it cannot be done.
This is something which is very unusual, because Harvard is considered to be one of the most important universities in the world. Of the 900 plus, nearly 1,000 people who have won the Nobel Prize, about 150 to 160 have either gone to Harvard as students or have taught there or are teaching there. So Harvard is that prestigious. Fortunately for Harvard, it has a corpus of over $50 billion. So if there are financial pressures on Harvard, Harvard will be able to withstand it. If you have $50 billion plus, then if the government cuts aid, then while it will not hurt to the extent that the university has to bend before the government. So that is the situation. The Trump government, of course, believes that Harvard's conduct has been improper. It has been anti-Semitic and so on. Now, which is why the actions have been taken. Now the point is, here is the most powerful man in the world. Here is the most prestigious university in the world. Now, how long can this fight last? And when it goes to the Supreme Court has 9 people there. Of course, all of them will think independently, and all of them will look at the laws. There is no doubt about the integrity of the U.S. Supreme Court, but it should also be mentioned that 3 of the Supreme Court members of the 9 were appointed by President Trump.
Well, as far as when it comes to taking the matter to the Supreme Court, and an appeal is filed by the White House. But Srinjoy, what is being said that the judges found that the government's justification claiming that Harvard had failed to address the issue of anti-Semitism on campus was a pretext for unlawful retaliation against the institution itself.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That the Trump government believed that Harvard was anti-Semitic. Now that was the belief of the Trump government. Now the court is saying that such a belief was unfounded. It was incorrect. It was not right. So the whole point I'm making is that has the government overreacted? Has the government done something it need not have done? And that is what the judges are saying. Now we have to see what the Supreme Court has to say about it. Also, it must be remembered that while Harvard has a corpus of $50 billion plus, there are many great universities in America who don't have that kind of support.
For certain uncertainty that still ahead lies when it comes to the Ivy League university, and how the administration proceeds could have implication on other financially strained schools that have also come under the fire of the Trump administration. But please to stay on with us. Shinjoy, short while back we were getting pictures that were coming in of this high-end dinner meeting that was hosted by President Trump himself. And this is a high IQ group of US tech titans at the White House at dinner. However, his old friend, now turned foe, Elon Musk, seems to be missing from this dinner party that has been hosted by the President Trump himself. As when we are looking at this meeting, this gathering that has happened, Elon Musk's exclusion has now come after a lot of public fallout that has been seen over the end of this so-called bromance. However, in his place, Sam Altman, the rival in the AI space, the head of OpenAI, also joined the dinner. As far as when it comes to this gathering is seen of these high-tech or tech titans, Srinjoy, Donald Trump seems to be very upfront, going across the table asking executives how much actually we're going to invest in the country, especially and notably who was missing from the list is Elon Musk.
Donald Trump is the way he is, and he wants investments in the United States. Now the point is that all these firms are investing in the United States. Let's face it. Someone like Satya Nadella, someone like Sundar Pichai, they have studied here, they have grown up here, they are in America, they are working in top firms. So this is a case of India in some ways doing something for the United States. It can be seen like that, isn't it? The other point here is that these firms are some of the best and the brightest people here. Now, importantly, they are there and they are working out of Seattle, usually, or Northern California. So there is a huge investment already. Now, if you say, how much are you going to invest in America? They have already invested in America. They have built up their huge companies in America.
But
they haven't done it in
Donald Trump himself is too a businessman. But as you mentioned, the most powerful man in the world, can he really ignore the richest man in the world?
That's the important point. Now, Elon Musk has chosen to stay away. So, by doing that, he has actually sent a message that, look here, you can be the most powerful man in the world, but 4 years later, you won't be the most powerful man in the world. I will still be, in all probability, the richest man in the world.
All right. Well, it seems that executives who seems to be praising Donald Trump and discussing their hopes for technological advancements. However, the Republican president seems to be more focused on the dollar signs and investments, where he was going around the table and asking the executives how much they are going to invest in the country to make America rich and great again. Thank you very much for the moment, Srinjoy, for joining us here on the broadcast.